It's always an awesome experience because you're helping people. It's wonderful because you're hands-on helping people.
I do what I do with and for the American Red Cross because of its principles. There's 7, but the core of which are neutrality, impartiality, and humanity. I got the call, I believe, on a Monday. I can't recall exactly because I watched the storm like most of us watched the storm over the weekend. It started to hit Friday evening.
And an hour later she called me and said, we have a driver from Cincinnati, his name is Cliff, if you can go, we need you guys to leave in 2 hours.
Yeah, it was, we had 10 hours to get acquainted with each other, and we covered about everything you needed to cover in 10 hours that was important. We worked well together as a team.
It's a commitment to each other. It's like having your spouse in the truck.
We didn't always agree, but we always resolved those disagreements.
Our first couple of trips were to shelters where people were okay. They had left their homes. It wasn't until we took the trip to Staten Island that we realized how huge of a disaster it was.
One of the best ways I can explain it is Red Cross rates their disasters on a scale from 1 to 5. Sandy, like Alabama and Katrina, was probably a 6 or a 7, which means it was above the normal scale that Red Cross uses.
It was just complete devastation. I mean, when I was on Staten Island, we stayed on a military ship off the coast because there was nowhere we could stay on the island. It was so completely destroyed.
We were primarily there to pick up food from the kitchen, deliver it to a location, or do mobile feeding, which is where we hand the food out the window of the truck. The neighborhood people were wonderful. The ones who lived in higher apartments and were not flooded out were driving up and down the streets, handing out water, handing out clothes. We came an unofficial drop-off point for clothes because people saw the truck. They knew that we were there to help. They wanted to help. They said, I have all these clothes, where can I leave them? And the Red Cross doesn't actually accept clothes and distribute clothes, so I said, put them by the truck. We'll tell the people that are here that they're here and they can come and they can rifle through and take what they need.
We delivered to shelters where it was dark out, and we hit live wires on the road while we were getting there. We delivered food out the window in Staten Island, where the damage was most apparent. There was a knock on the door, and one of the residents came up and said, would you like some coffee? And I was just amazed. I said, well, yeah. She said, I'm sorry, it's going to be decaf and instant. And I said, that is so wonderful. And she brought us some hot coffee.
I met a young gentleman, Mexican national, who had lost his job and his home due to flooding. And he was there by himself. His parents were in Manhattan, and they were fine. And we started talking, we kind of formed a little bond, and then he eventually started helping my team do our daily activities. And then eventually he became a part of our team, and he was up all night with us and doing just as much work as we did.
You have to be willing to put your life on hold for 2 weeks. And Lynn and I were some of the lesser workers. We went for 2 weeks while Lynn went back. But some people go for 6 weeks. You know, they go for 2 or 3 weeks, they go away, then they come back for another 3 weeks.
I truly believe that my life changed more in those 2 weeks than in the last 2 years. From all the people that I met who would share their stories with me, to working with my team, and to witnessing the devastation and what Mother Nature is capable of. I learned that none of us are exempt, and disasters don't play favorites.